So we're in the throes of the Sermon on the Mount here in chapter 6, and Jesus is issuing some warnings about doing things for other people. We see in the beginning of chapter 6, it's about giving, and then the praying that people might see you rather than really truly praying to God for God's glory. And then, of course, fasting, we see others disfiguring their faces. And what Jesus says here, he says, beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. And then when he says about praying, he says, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and street corners that they may be seen by others. And then the fasting, they disfigure their faces that their fasting may be seen by others. Jesus issues a caution, of course, there, because he wants us to be focused upon God and upon God knowing what we're doing. He says not even to tell your left hand what your right hand's doing as you give. He wants us to be the kind of people that don't do things primarily for others' acclamation or others' approval, but he wants us to be the kind of people that live for God. Now, that's so much easier said than done. What he's arguing against often is a false expression of religion by really the Pharisees and many of the religious leaders. They just wanted to be seen by others for their good works, and they cared very little for God. And that's one of the dangers, of course, in fasting, praying, and giving, and any sort of religious expression of devotion, is that we want to be seen by others and we want glory from others. That is not the way it's supposed to be, Jesus is saying. Jesus is saying, care what God thinks. Do it for the glory of God. Now, certainly you're giving to others to help them. You're praying to God that his will might be done. And, fasting in your Christian liberty is seeking the face of God for the sake of God. Now, we don't want to be the kind of people who are overly concerned about what others think. We should care what others think. But we should care ultimately what God thinks and of what God approves. And what Jesus mentions in each of those texts is that your Father will reward you. And I think that's important because we want to live for God. Others may not say thank you. Others may not say they appreciate you for the good works that you do. But God is well pleased with those works. God appreciates them. God sees them. God knows them. God commands them. And so really the warning Jesus is giving is one against pride and one against living for other people. The Proverbs remind us that the fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. We're reminded in Colossians to do our work heartily, not just to please man or to be eye pleasers or people pleasers, but heartily as to the Lord. And so my word of exhortation to you people of God is love. Love for the glory of God. Love and hope. Serve and hope that from your master you will hear, well done, good and faithful servant, come share in your master's happiness. Regardless of whether that service or that religious devotion to God is seen by others or appreciated by others, God commands it. It's a good thing to do. And do it for the glory of God. And may others be blessed, even if they don't say thank you or see it. God knows it all and promises to bless those who do his will. So take comfort in those passages and certainly be warned in those passages as well. Be blessed.